is your girl, Civil Disobedience. I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. I want you to comment below. It has nothing to do with anything but political activism, community activism, spreading knowledge and awareness. First, I want to do my disclaimer statement. I know I look like Fannie A. King. However, she is not here when it comes to community activism. This is civil disobedience. So, any affiliations with jobs, no one on jobs feels this way. We're not in any way referencing a person to vote for or against a person. We're only referencing that people do need to, one, vote, be active, two, be tolerable, and three, be communicative. Let's listen. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and get in current news. At a Trump rally, he references a Senator, Omar from Minnesota, who happens to be Muslim. Shout out Senator Omar. She's an 82 baby. And although I am a Christian, I do believe in tolerance. He referenced Senator Omar, and the constituents began to chant, "Send her back, send her back." First, I would like to tell the Trump Make America Great Again crowd, all of you are immigrants from countries that you left because you were outcasted because of the same persecution and prosecution that you are trying to inflict on others. Now, I know it is not all of you. However, those of you who are silent are consenting to the ones who are showing bigotry, discrimination, and racism. And as a civil disobedience, I must say that that is something that you shouldn't do if you call yourself an American. Okay? When you left your countries, you left because of taxation with no representation. Okay? Senator Omar represents people who voted for her. She represents them. And so they are taxed. They voted. She won. So go home. I guess you guys are saying that you guys are trying to go somewhere because obviously we, civil disobedience, and those people who know how to debate and let the election night come and let the people speak, we are waiting on election night. We are waiting on the people to speak. And we don't understand how ex-immigrants are telling someone who immigrated here to go somewhere when they are naturalized in, just like you guys were. Okay, when you first got here on the Mayflower, and everybody loves to say that. But all of you are not from Europe. Some of you are from France. Some of you are from Australia. Some of you are from England. You know what I'm saying? That's in Europe or whatever. Spain. But, let's shout them out. Your nationality, that's an ethnicity. This race thing, this white thing, confuses things for racists because they think that because they are identified by people who founded the country, that they can say to someone, go home. We are home, sweetheart. And anytime you're ready to go back to any of those countries that you no longer want to go to, you let us know. We're going to help you get there if you can. Now, moving on to our current city climate, and we're going to correlate that to our national climate. So, let me give you my credentials. I have a bachelor's in broadcast journalism, and I've been posting videos since Mayor Branch was in office, and I would like to address this little gossip mill, rumor mill that's going around the city saying that us criticizing Mayor Branch may have helped in his demise. First of all, to insult a man who put his name on a ballot more than once. I remember when he first started running for office, he barely got any votes. To move to where he actually won twice without, Fannie A. King's vote. I don't see how you can say anyone who was so minuscule in his terms could kill him. Okay. Um, don't do that to the legacy of people. Don't do that to the families and have people hostile towards one another. Okay. Heart disease runs in the Black community. I'm susceptible to it. I have family members who have died from heart attacks, and they were not even in politics. They were a teacher. So it's something that's hurtful to everyone. And we have to take care of our health. And may Mayor Branch rest in peace. And his family and his works speak for himself. Moving on from that topic, Mayor Hayden is the interim mayor who took over after Branch was laid to rest. And there's current friction in the city because a lot of people are not in agreement with the way that Mayor Hayden is running things. Now, to address this situation, if you are a person who has subscribed to my videos before, you are aware that I was very for. Fannie A. King was very for. Put that away from me because I'm civil disobedience right now. Fannie A. King was very for Mayor Hayden. As a person who is working on political activism and community activism for both whites and blacks, regardless of how you feel about me, because let's just address racism. Racism is self-hatred, okay? You don't know me to hate me. So if you hate all black people and want them to go to hell, that's because you don't like yourself. And it's vice versa for us. If we hate you, it's because what? We don't like ourselves. It has nothing to do with race. Because you don't know me, I don't know you. So that's self-hatred, and I just have the opportunity to put that hate on you and inflict it on you without the repercussions of my community. That's all that is, okay? So let's put racism out the picture, and let's deal with the real here. In this city, Mr. McClydon, our city clerk, who was taken into the position after Mr. Gerald Odom was voted out and released from the city. Now they want to bring him back. And see, that's why you can't be on anyone's side. It's civil disobedience. You know, you can be civil disobedience too. You can't be on anybody's side. You know, I may have referenced her in different videos, but as I've often told many people in her camp, once elected, you have to get to know me and I have to get to know you all over again. And if I'm a non-factor, it's because you're not worried about your citizens and you weren't worried then. And I don't want anybody, previous mayor, past mayor, new mayor, mayor to be. If you get in a position, you're not anybody's mama, you're not anybody's daddy, you're not anybody's pastor, you're not anybody's best friend, you're not anybody's classmate. Civil disobedience says that you are an elected official and we have the right to criticize you. Now, that's a democracy. What's going on now, saying that people have to be in your camp or else they're treasonous, is something that's occurring because people are no longer wanting to promote democracy. They want a dictatorship. Okay, so that's why we have to be on this. That's why I have evolved from one person into who? Civil disobedience. So Mr. Alfred McClydon decided to take it upon himself to write this 2-page article accusing Mayor Hayden and City Attorney Buddy Caldwell and how Buddy Caldwell ended up as City Attorney. Civil disobedience would love to know. Okay, so comment. Let a sister know how did that happen. I wasn't, I had to, come out of myself and be a daughter and a mother and tend to my people because everybody was in their feelings about folks. So I had to do that. But anybody want to tell me, I know y'all don't want to tell nothing. Y'all don't want to tell nothing. Y'all just want to complain. So Mr. Alfred McClydon decides to take it upon himself to go to Madison Journal. And Madison Journal, which is the only newspaper in Tallulah, decided to give him 2 pages to basically throw accusations at Mayor Hayden and City Attorney Caldwell. Now, if you don't know who City Attorney Caldwell is, he is the former district attorney for the Madison Parish, I think it's East Carroll Parish, this area of Northeast Louisiana. It's a region that's a regional, a district thing. And I like to be accurate, not just heard. So I don't want to go into that too much. He was also the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana. And now he is our city attorney. Way to go. This is awesome. Anyway, Mr. McClyde threw a lot of accusations their way. Now, I hope, City Attorney Caldwell and Mayor Hayden don't mind me stating how I'm not necessarily their buddies. No pun. But I kind of feel like Mr. McClyde was a little out of line here. He promised that he would reveal at this last meeting, which our date is now July 19th. The last meeting I attended was July 13th. Mr. McClyde did the revealing of this on June 27th. And he promised that following, which I believe the Madison Journal comes out on a Wednesday. So if I'm correct, that would make June 28th the meeting where Mr. McClyde had a verbal altercation with Mayor Hayden and City Attorney, former Attorney General, former District Attorney Caldwell. He had words with them. And he promised the people information on what he called, I got to look at it, and I'm holding my phone because I'm civil disobedience, and don't nobody want to pay or hire her. That's why I had to separate her from that girl, Fanny. She like her job, and her boss, and white people. You know what I'm saying? And civil disobedience likes white people. Civil disobedience is probably white herself sometimes. She jumps from people to people. Just depends on who takes her up. Or, she's a her with me. So let's just get a little snippet of what Mr. McClyde says about Miss Hayden. He says that she wanted to keep him quiet so that other employees would not know about intimidating tactics. But, and I quote, "It did not work on me." Now, at the end of this article, Mr. McClyde says, "I challenge the mayor, city attorney, or any city hall employee to prove me a liar. And I am not talking about fabricated letters written by her assistant that has no standing in city business or can endorse anything for the city of Tallulah. Truth always prevails over lies and corruption." This is a newspaper, y'all. No word on whether Mayor Hayden and City Attorney Caldwell denied responding, denied the accusations, denied even being in the building when these things happen. We just have only Mr. McClyde's word. Not even a reporter is notated in this article. Only Mr. McClyde himself as the author. It was brought to my attention on one of our Tallulah City pages where we go to basically converse and share information. And I just have been a little withdrawn from the city council meetings from there. This is going to segue to me into bringing up the video that I did, and you can go back and reference this, about the pedagogy of the oppressed by Paulo Freire. Okay? Paulo Freire wrote The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and if you haven't read it and you don't want to reference the video, I'm just going to give you a light synopsis of this information, he basically is saying in his work that in poverty-stricken areas, both the people inflicting poverty, oppression, and slavery on people, as well as the person who is held in that state, are bound to one another. Because the people who have you in oppression are bound by the illusion they must create to hold you in that space. And you are held there because you subconsciously, if you are from a poverty-stricken area, want to be like the oppressor. You want to oppress people too. So consequently, you become the oppressor and it becomes a cyclical thing. So this is how I evolved into civil disobedience, where I'm not for one candidate or the other. I'm for right. I'm for justice. You know, Lincoln was a Republican. So, hey, you know, I'm not for any candidate other than the right treatment of the people once they are elected into office and are no longer the people themselves. So I felt like this, and I told people, and the people who watch this video that know me as civil disobedience, you can definitely verify this with them. I said, we'll never find out what Mr. McClyde knows. And my friends were like, how come do you say this, Civil? And I said, well, this was a leverage move. He's trying to hold his position. He wants people to know he knows something so no one will do anything to him. But at the same time, he doesn't really want us to know because he would have just let a reporter have the information and run the story. So I've been briefed in journalism, and that is how I'm also civil disobedience. In journalism, in real journalism, there is no side to choose. If you're going to present the facts, you must present the facts. And any commentary that's given on that information should only translate from what you are given. Okay? You can't go to what I think they meant and I think they didn't. It's not about what you think as a person. It's about what's done. And in journalism, you report that. So the Madison Journal, you guys are wrong because you should not have allowed Mr. McClyde to run an editorial on the front page while not even addressing the issue at the Trump rallies and how it can endanger people of color if Trump is not elected back in office. And that's the fear we have to face. Everybody who's racist that wants Trump in office is compensated. He's in office. So they're not really a threat to the nature and life that we live, no more than they have been. However, if they go into this election and lose, they could look to take that out on communities. So this current climate of send her back, and when people are already naturalized in and they have earned their right to be in this country, it shows us that we are not really dealing with the real issues here. It correlates with this article that Mr. McClyde has in the paper, because if you remember the video I did on Animal Farm, we talked about how the distraction was keeping the animals busy while the pigs were able to feast and sell them off to the humans. Okay? So Mr. McClyde basically became a pig with this article. And Mr. McClyde, anybody in a public position, I am not in any way attacking or trying to attack your person or anyone related to you. I'm referencing that as in the book Animal Farm. Okay, so I'm not saying you are a pig in person. I'm saying symbolically in this novella, Animal Farm, you were you would be considered one of the pigs. You're one of the people who are elected up there by the city council to help the people. You had a voice. You brought all of the other animals to you. Okay? You promised us information to set us free. And then now we're distracted because Mr. Wilson, Dr. Wilson, who is friends with Mr. McClyde. And if you don't know Mr. Antonio Wilson, you need to reference the first video I did about the water. He and his brother, Mr. Gary Crockett, have been in Tallulah, back in Tallulah, stating that they're from here. that they have not only the means, the millions to fix our water problem, they also have the know-how. In fact, Dr. Wilson can boast that he helped to fix the water in a city in Alabama. And he didn't even have to run for mayor. But all of a sudden in your hometown, pedagogy of the oppressed, you come back here and you have to be running things to fix things around here for us. Okay? And Miss Hayden, Mr. Crockett, and Dr. Wilson were all three at the water meeting. Miss Hayden, who was then Councilwoman Hayden, introduced, and you can go back and look at this information. It's available on different pages and in my own YouTube, Civil Disobedience. Please like, subscribe, comment. I did a video on this. She introduced the brothers and made us feel comfortable with them enough to trust their word, their judgment, and believe that they would fix the water. However, all of a sudden, what we're getting from Mr. Crockett and Dr. Wilson is, once I'm elected, once my brother is elected, well, wait a minute, millionaires, black, young, gifted, you can't set us free here. Mr. McClodden, you had information to help condemn. If not, we really don't look to convict. We're not those type of people here. We really don't want anyone to go to jail. But you had information to convince City Council as a whole, the voted in members, Ms. Hayden, Mayor Hayden is the interim mayor. You had information to convince them to treat the people fairly. However, you played it safe for yourself. Mayor Hayden, you were for the brothers. Now you're against them. I mean, this is like reality TV. We as a people have to get to a point where we are not on anyone's side or against them when it comes to politics. I just want to see you do what you say do. I'm not in any reference trying to say what anyone will do. We're going to tune in and find out. That's why I'm making it sound like that. We're going to see. But it really gets to a point where you don't know even if you're safe at a city council meeting anymore because they're so hostile. Now, I can say that at I guess it was the June 28th city council meeting, because I think this paper comes out on a Wednesday. Once Mr. McClodden and Mr. City Attorney Caldwell got into a brief verbal altercation where they were basically discussing the information Mr. McClodden was having. And they were basically explaining what he was saying. And he was basically saying they were lying. And everyone is listening to this spat go back and forth like a verbal tennis match. You know, your head's going like this. You know what I'm saying? And so I wasn't there. I saw it on. I tuned in, and I'm gonna be tuning in. You know, if they go live, if something comes up, then I'm gonna go up there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I didn't want to go. Now there was something dealing with one of Fannie A. King's aunts, and I wanted to go up there for her. However, I was unable to do so because I was unsure about the atmosphere that, you know, I would be received in. And so I stayed at home because people are really hostile. And that's the same climate that's being presented with Trump at these rallies. Do you all see how this all ties in together? It's no way we can call ourselves American if we can't tolerate a person disagreeing with us. Dr. Wilson, Mr. McClodden, Mayor Hayden, City Attorney Caldwell, don't indict me. All of you guys need to learn how to communicate a little bit better. Don't wait till behind the scenes to calm down. How can we tell our kids in the street to not fight? How can we tell racists to not fight if we are constantly in a verbal shouting match and calling people names and calling people liars? You know, they may be lying. They may be lying. Civil disobedience says, however, and that's what they mean by civil disobedience. You know, you need to read that. I've made a video about all of this information. Go back and just review. I don't have time. You know, I'm 5 minutes out of where I want to be. I meant to stop at 20 minutes. I'm at 25. Civil disobedience states, I may not agree with you. I'm going to stand against you. But after I have made my stance, I can still see you at the local restaurant. I can still see you at the grocery store. I can still see you at the ballpark where our kids play. And we're not going to act like gang members. And this just proves that gang members should be given, if they legitimize themselves, they say they're investigating Nipsey Hussle, Ermias Asgidon. They say they're investigating him, and he was assassinated in his own mall court. Once a person has risen to a status and they've admitted that they're affiliated with a gang, the way that politics are going now, surely you don't expect anyone to stop admitting that now. Not with people at rallies chanting "Send an American politician back," when the current president is a naturalized immigrant descendant. He's the descendant of an immigrant. His people came from Germany under prosecution. His wife is a current naturalized immigrant, just like my classmate, Senator Omar. So how are we going to tell other people to not be affiliated with their pasts if we aren't even able to remember our own? If we want to make our own greater than someone else's, that's not making America great again. It's making you forget that you were coming over here just like other people to escape wrong. And these concentration camps they have the people in, call your local senator and congressman, because it is sinister. Call your senator and tell them to loosen up with that. You know, give them beds. It's not a concentration camp. Put the children back with their mother. You know what I'm saying? If we keep it the way it is a concentration camp. So this is the information that civil disobedience has complied. As I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Save this information, share this information. And I'm asking everyone to get out and vote. And no matter who is president, we are here. We are voicing our opinions. Get over it. Mwah.